Imagine waking up tomorrow and suddenly every language disappears. No English, no Hindi, no Chinese, no Arabic, no words at all. You can't ask for food. You can't tell someone you're in danger. You can't even tell your family, "I love you." You can only point, gesture, or make sounds. It sounds impossible. Yet for hundreds of thousands of years, that's exactly how our ancestors lived. Ancient humans had no dictionaries, no writing, no alphabet, not even a single word. So, how did humanity speak its very first word? The answer didn't begin with words. It began with silence. Long before the first word, humans still had to communicate. A hunter needed to warn the group that danger was coming. A mother needed to comfort her child. Friends needed to work together to find food. Without language, they relied on something much older. Their hands, their faces, their voices. A raised finger could mean look, a frightened expression. Could mean run, a smile. Could mean you're safe. Even today, you can understand someone's emotions without hearing a single word. Scientists believe our ancestors became experts at reading body language long before they learned to speak. But gestures had limits. You couldn't point to a place beyond the hill. You couldn't describe tomorrow or explain a new hunting strategy. As human groups grew larger, simple gestures were no longer enough. Our ancestors needed something faster, more precise, something that worked, even in the dark. That need may have changed human history forever. Imagine a hunting group hiding quietly, watching a herd of deer. One hunter points, another nods. But suddenly, the animals begin to move. There isn't enough time for complicated gestures. Someone makes a short sound, a simple call, repeated again and again. Soon, everyone understands what it means. Perhaps that was how the first words were born. Not from long conversations, but from tiny sounds connected to real things. A sound for water, a sound for fire, a sound for danger, a sound for food. Over thousands of years, these sounds became easier to remember. Children learned them from their parents. Parents learned them from their elders. Each generation added a few more. Slowly, humanity built something extraordinary. Not overnight, not in a single place, but one sound, one meaning, and one generation at a time. The first language had finally begun. But words alone couldn't build civilization. Something even more powerful was about to change everything. The first words were probably very simple, but they unlocked something no other animal had ever achieved. For the first time, humans could share ideas without pointing. A hunter could explain where the river was. An elder could teach how to make a better spear. A mother could warn which berries were poisonous. Knowledge no longer disappeared. When someone died, it could be passed from one generation to the next. Every story, every lesson, every mistake could now survive. Language became humanity's greatest tool. Soon, people weren't just talking about today. They were planning tomorrow, preparing for winter, organizing hunts, sharing stories around the campfire, dreaming about the future. Words allowed thousands of strangers to work together as one. And that cooperation would eventually build villages, cities, kingdoms, and civilizations. But one mystery still remains. If humans learn to speak, why are there thousands of different languages today? As humans spread across the earth, something unexpected happened. Small groups began living far apart. Some crossed mountains, others settled beside rivers. Many journeyed into forests, and some crossed frozen lands into entirely new continents. For thousands of years, these groups rarely met again. Their words slowly began to change. A child pronounced a sound differently. Another family invented a new word. A tribe gave the same animal a completely different name. Tiny changes added up, generation after generation, century after century. One language became two, two became 10, 10 became hundreds, until eventually, the world was filled with thousands of different languages. Today, scientists estimate there are over 7,000 languages still spoken. Yet despite sounding completely different, every language serves the same purpose: to help one human share an idea with another. But perhaps the greatest mystery isn't how language changed. It's why humans evolved. To speak at all, language changed humanity. But it also raises an even bigger question. If language is so powerful, why don't other animals speak the way we do? Chimpanzees can make calls, wolves howl, whales sing, birds perform incredibly complex songs, but none of them can tell stories about yesterday or make plans for next year. Scientists believe the difference wasn't just our voices, it was our brains. Around 300,000 years ago, the human brain became exceptionally good at imagining things that didn't physically exist. A promise, a memory, a plan, a myth, a name. Language allowed humans to place those invisible ideas inside someone else's mind with nothing more than a few sounds. For the first time, knowledge could travel without anyone moving. An invention could spread across an entire continent. A warning could save generations. A story could outlive its storyteller. Language wasn't just communication. It became humanity's greatest technology. But perhaps its greatest achievement wasn't helping us survive. It was helping us. Remember, long before books, long before writing, and long before history, there were stories around glowing campfires. Parents told children where the dangerous animals lived. Hunters explained how to track prey. Elders shared the mistakes they had made so the next generation wouldn't repeat them. For the first time, knowledge no longer depended on personal experience. One person's discovery could become everyone's knowledge. Language allowed ideas to survive death. Even after a storyteller was gone, their words lived on. Over thousands of years, those stories became traditions. Traditions became cultures. Cultures built civilizations. Eventually, humans invented writing, not to replace language, but to preserve it. The first symbols carved into clay, the first words painted on stone, and the first books were all built upon something that had existed for tens of thousands of years. Spoken language. But perhaps the most incredible part is that no one knows what the first human word actually was. Evolving for hundreds of thousands of years, long before cities, long before kingdoms, long before writing itself, language didn't simply help humans survive. It allowed ideas to outlive the people who created them. Sometimes, the greatest inventions aren't made of stone, or metal, or fire. Sometimes, they're invisible, living only inside our minds. And perhaps that's the real story of how humans learned to speak.